Good morning, peace and blessings. It's your boy Jay Taylor, Voices for the Voiceless, and I'm back with another video, you know. And man, I hope everybody is enjoying their Thursday morning. I hope everybody having a great morning. Almost time for the weekend. Yeah, Friday right around the corner. People finna get their checks and run it up. We in the middle of August, man. This year has been flying like a flying saucer, man. Gliding through. We already in the middle of August. Can you believe it? Jesus Christ, kids back to school. It's going down. But yeah, so in this episode is basically I want to give a big shout out to Brother Muse. He gave me some videos to react to, and they were very interesting. And as the title says, so yeah, we're gonna touch on a few topics. We're gonna spice it up a little bit, you know. But yeah, man, shout out once again to Brother Muse. He always looking out, sending me some things to check out. And I have no problem, if the people that enjoy coming to Voices for the Voiceless want to hear me react to or check out some commentary, man, please send it my way. The email address is on our main page, or you can leave it in the comment section, and I'll check it out and I'll react to it. That's what we're here for as content creators. I'm trying to get into the mode of giving the people more of what they want to hear. And Brother Muse definitely, man, has been very supportive and give his critique and also very much involved in Voices for the Voices. So salute to Brother Muse and everybody else out there that enjoys the content. And without further ado, before we get into the commentary, you know how this go. Gotta share this and get that on out the way, man. Because I'm telling you, man, they will get down on you on here, man, with some strikes and all that. And I ain't even know it was that deep. But copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So yeah, we got that out the way. All right, we cooking with hot grease. Yes, indeed. So, man, the first topic is something that's like near and dear to me, and I know it is for Brother Muse, him being from Chicago, Illinois as well. It's the corruption out here. We know about the Lori Lightfoots, the Tiffany Henyards, and the Mayor Brandon Johnsons that's going on, and we see what's going on with the Governor Pritzker, and we know that Illinois has historically been corrupt, And with that being said, I got a visual here to substantiate what I'm telling you, So check this out, man. This is interesting, man. And it's historically corrupt,
Well, next week, the fate of former Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan is expected to be handed over to jurors who have listened to testimony now for 3 months. But we've been here before, have we not? 4 of the state's last 11 governors and nearly 40 Chicago aldermen in the last half century have served time in prison.
Whoa. Let's run that stat back. Last 50 years. 4 of the last 11 governors and nearly 40 Chicago aldermen have went to prison and served time. You know, they say Chicago is the city of Capone, Al Capone, that is, and the mob and all of that is intertwined in the politics in Chicago. You know, this way before the street organizations that ran the city, you know, during the 80s and the 90s. But the mafia had a real big stranglehold on the politics and the politicians in Chicago. I'm trying to think, what was that Italian mayor name? Now, what was that mayor name, man? I'm gonna get his name, but Mayor Daley. Yeah, Mayor Daley. I know Brother Muse, man. He know who I'm talking about. Mayor Daley was a mob figure, a mob boss that was the mayor for a long time. And man, this corruption goes back to the days of Al Capone, man. I remember Mayor Daley when I was a shorty, man. But this is insane. 4 of the last 11 governors and nearly 40 Chicago aldermen been in that place, man, serving time.
We don't know how it's going to turn out for Mike Madigan. We will see. So how can we rescue our state from continuing down a road of corruption? Austin Berg from the Illinois Policy Institute joins me now. Good morning, Austin.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. How much is corruption costing Illinois taxpayers?
Well, the cost, there's really two parts of this cost. The first is economic. And our research shows that corruption, this is just illegal corruption. This is not counting corruption that is legal under the law, is costing the state economy about $500 million with a B dollars a year. That's the first cost. And the second cost is just this.
Hold on, man. That $1 billion a year sounds identical almost to the $1 billion deficit that Chicago has due to the failed policies of Mayor Brandon Johnson that has the city in a $1.2 billion deficit. I'm just saying. And then the corruption is economical, like he said. So the taxpaying citizens of Chicago have to bear the brunt of these deficits and this corruption. Now, people will tend to tell me that I pay too much attention to federal politics, but actually I don't. You know, I pay attention to both, especially in the city that I'm from. You know, when we talk about, I got about 7 messages to different videos to Mayor Brandon Johnson just in my catalog. And if you break down each one, it attacks them from a different angle of local politics and the corruption. Brandon Johnson is he's just a puppy. He's just a smoke screen that is pushed out there. But it's a machine behind Brandon Johnson of corruption. See, you get Brandon Johnson out of there, and you get another Democratic mayor that's a part of that machine, you're gonna have even more, even worse than Brandon Johnson in the next 4 years. So people need to wake up to the corruption because he's just the face of it for now. It's a machine behind him.
This incredible erosion in the trust in government. We see public polling data show that Illinois residents have the least trust in their state government of residents of any other state compared to those other states. So there's sort of a moral cost as well.
After the impeachment of former Governor Rod Blagojevich, state legislators passed ethics reform legislation. But get this, elected officials were themselves exempt. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Well, the system we have in Springfield right now is sort of one of the fox guarding the hen house. And I'd like to say that if federal corruption convictions, like the one we may see with Speaker Madigan, actually fought corruption, Illinois would be the least corrupt state in the nation. But in fact, the data show that we are having, on average, more than one public corruption conviction per week for the last 40 years. And that's because of these rules in Springfield where the fox is guarding the hen house. For example, the laws say that you should not vote on a bill if you have a conflict of interest. Those rules still rely on the honor system for enforcement. The legislative inspector general, the person in charge of investigating corruption in the state house, they have to go to a committee of lawmakers before they issue a subpoena.
Hold fast. So if they detect or report some type of potential corruption, see, this the overplay for the underlay. This is what they call the overplay for the underlay. They report the corruption, but the corruption got to go before a board of people that are a part of the corruption. You know what I'm saying? You don't have no outside entity that's outside of this system of corruption to make a decision to move forward with pursuing charges or an investigation, because the same people that are doing the corruption are a part of the decision making to prosecute or investigate. That's like you coming before a judge to prosecute, you a prosecutor to prosecute somebody that did let's say, robbed the bank. But the whole time, the person that you're trying to prosecute, the bank robber, the judge himself is the getaway driver, and the and the bailiff was the one that was the lookout, and the other people that's prosecuting with you was the ones that was in the bank with them. So it's rigged. Like, the corruption is so deep. They need an outside entity to investigate these type of situations. Let's continue.
Or issue a report on corruption. And there are really almost no limits also stopping the revolving door from lawmaker to lobbyist in Springfield. So these are just a few examples of how we need to change the system, not just rely on the federal government to come in and make indictments.
And to your point, the woman hired to be the legislative inspector general, whose job it was to recommend steps to stop corruption, resigned under Governor Pritzker because she felt like, as you just explained, there just wasn't any teeth with the current ethics reform. Last question for you. What can we do to make our state more ethical? Because I think a lot of people here in the state, we feel helpless, you know, but is there something we can do?
Absolutely. So for one, when we see these headlines,
I'll tell you what to do. Baby girl, you can move the hell up out of Illinois, because I don't think there's nothing you could do. It's too far gone. This been going on, like I said, since the days of Capone, the 1920s and all that, man. This is history. Historically, Illinois is just corruption. You know? It's just what it is, man. It's just the politics, you know, and it's Jerry, what we learned, gerrymandered is Democratic, it's owned by the Democratic Party. You will never, I highly doubt that you will ever see a Republican in office. We haven't had a Republican mayor or governor in 6 to 7 decades. Well, at least I don't know about the governor. I'll take that back. But the mayor, we never had a Republican mayor in at least 6 to 7 decades. It's been gerrymandered, one-sided for the Democratic Party for 60, 70 years. And we know how corrupt that party is.
headline grabbing corruption indictments like we see with Speaker Madigan, it's important for people to remember that isn't enough to stop corruption. You need to contact your state lawmaker. You need to contact Governor Pritzker and the House Speaker and the Senate President and tell them we need real ethics reform. Tell them we can't rely on the honor system anymore. Tell them we need an inspector general with teeth. We cannot just rely on convictions to stop corruption.
All right. Thanks so much, Austin, for your time this morning.
Okay. All right. Now we get the gist of that, man. Now you talk about contact Governor Pritzker when he a part of the dang on corruption. You know what I'm saying? Contact him and tell him what? He gonna be like, all right, yeah, I got you. I heard you. You know, man, like I'm telling you, the only way that you can get away from the corruption, out from my vantage point, you could do what he said, but most importantly, the people need to galvanize. If it's anything that we learned from this last presidential election, it's that the people have power. And when the people unite and come together, it's nothing that cannot be accomplished. If the people of Illinois wanted to make change in their local and state government, they need to galvanize. They need to prioritize, meaning come up with a list of demands for our vote. We need to get everybody on board. Stop letting these Democrats separate us by race. Stop letting them separate us by class, rich, poor, all that. Kill all of that. We all have the same wants and needs. We want peace. We want to have a better quality of life. We all Americans. We got way more in common than we have not in common. So until we stop being divided, and I don't care, it could be a Democratic mayor or governor, Republican or independent, but if you want the vote of the people of the state of Illinois, these are our list of demands. And you get to vote with this. If you don't, we sit at home. We leave Illinois. But until the people take it in their hands, and I don't know if that's going to happen, because the way we so divided, not only in Illinois, but in this country right now, it would be ideal for the Democratic Party and the Republican Party to work together, to reach across the aisle and shake each other's hand and say, listen, we both Americans. Moving forward, this is what we need to do. But you know why that can't happen? Because it's too different in policy. Democrats in favor of illegal immigration. Republicans are not. Democrats want men and women's sports. Republicans don't. I mean, the stuff that Democrats have went so far left about, the Republican Party is largely against. So our view of the world is totally polar opposite. Whereas not too long ago, before the Democrats went so far left, a lot of issues were bipartisan. Illegal immigration and border control were bipartisan, meaning that both parties were in favor of certain core values. But see, hey, that changed, man. That changed. But anyway, that's the first part of the reactionary videos. Once again, shout out to Brother Muse, you know, and that's just my thoughts on that, man. But let's get off into the Trump brothers, man. On Fox, man, they was cooking, man. I really enjoyed this here. But yeah, let me bring this up. And they gonna chop it up about a few things and I'm gonna chime in. But this is Donald Trump's sons. You got Eric Trump, Don Jr., and I think another, I don't think this is his son, but maybe like a stepson or something like that. But we gonna get their name. Let's roll.
This is a tour against the Trump administration's attack on New York City voters. But I continue to say that if Donald Trump wants to pick up the phone and say that he wants to deliver on the cheaper groceries that he ran on, I'm willing to work with him on that.
Now this dude right here, before we get to the Trump sons, the Trump brothers, this dude right here is running for mayor of New York, a Muslim socialist. I mean, if they elect this dude, Detroit, New York is done. It's done. And this dude is actually winning in the preliminary votes. He's winning by like 20%. Like he has a super large lead on Cuomo and Mayor Adams. Like he's looking like he has 80% a chance of becoming the president. I mean, not the president, but the mayor of New York, a socialist. Wow. A Muslim socialist. Crazy. He said he gonna be Trump's biggest pain in his butt if he's elected. But here he's saying that let's run it back, that he willing to work with him. I mean, which one is it?
This is a tour against the Trump administration's attack on New York City voters. But I continue to say that if Donald Trump wants to pick up the phone and say that he wants to deliver on the cheaper groceries that he ran on, I'm willing to work with him on that. It just can never be a partnership at the expense of the people of the city.
New York City mayoral candidate who's winning by about 20 points in the latest Siena poll, Zohran Mamdani, says he's willing to work with President Trump despite promising to be President Trump's worst nightmare. So what would this mean for wealthy New Yorkers besides your taxes going up? Let's bring in World Liberty Financial co-founders Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr., and Zach Witkoff. Welcome, guys. Thanks so much for being here.
So much to be here.
I hate to drag you into politics, but it is New York politics.
I'm shocked that we're going here.
Right, but Eric, your thoughts about the rise of the socialist who does not like capitalism or billionaires?
Well, that's what's scary to me, right? I grew up in New York. My father's name is on every building in New York. I mean, this is a building, this is a city. These are the markets. This is New York Stock Exchange. This is the NASDAQ, right? I mean, this is the epitome of capitalism around the world. And the guy's coming out and actively saying that he wants to shut down capitalism. I mean, it's the antithesis of what New York City is. The guy is holy, holy scary. And I think it's a disastrous thing for this state, which has already had an exodus of people out of it.
And Don Jr., when you talk.
Exactly. Him being a socialist, trying to come in a capitalistic city such as New York and go totally against what that city was built upon. Like you got Wall Street, NASDAQ. I mean, like you trying to flip New York upside down. It's like you in total disagreement with everything New York stands for. Like that, it's just doesn't seem like a wise thing to do.
Talk about people that got to make financial decisions. Well, the rich don't care, the successful don't care, but take a look. They do move when they're being pushed. For example, the proposal is a 2% tax of income over the year. The top city rate is 5.9%. So add on to that. The city and state 16.8%. Federal, state, and city rate 53.8%. So basically, what if you're seeing these numbers, private company or public, what are you going to do?
You're going to move to Florida. You're going to move to Texas. You're going to move somewhere else. The reality is no one wants to pay that much. And the reality that's really sad for actual New Yorkers and middle-class New Yorkers is that the wealthiest people, they can move very easily. They can work from wherever wherever they want.
Especially
They've seen that. Ever since the pandemic, people realize they don't have to be in an office. They don't have to do these kinds of things. They will move. They are the vast majority of the tax base that funds all of these subsidy programs in New York City. Anyway, you lose 10, 15,000 of those ultra high net worth individuals. This city is in serious trouble. And
exactly. Now, this is Donald Trump Jr. He's absolutely correct. And that's what I be saying with Brandon Johnson, with this progressive revenue. So basically what you're saying is you want to raise taxes. See, this is where the Democrats go wrong with tax the rich. See, when you do that, just like these Democratic mayors and governors, okay, we just gonna make the rich pay more taxes and more tax. We're gonna tax them more. We're gonna get all the millionaires and billionaires and just up their taxes, right? It sounds good, but what you do is when you do that, you push these billionaires and millionaires out your city and out your states. They like, why would I pay all these extra taxes when I'm already being taxed to death? When I can just go over to the next state, take my business, which if they take their business and they take their revenue, they take their resources and go to another and relocate to another state, a lot of people gonna lose jobs. A lot of people gonna lose resources. You basically just brought down the property value of your city or your state. See, that you need to find better ways to create revenue for your city or your state than to try to tax people, taxing poor people, rich people. Less tax. That's what the Republican Party is about. Less government, less tax, more money in your pocket for all people. It's just coming up with, you see, these Democrats tend to not have any type of background in creating anything. This Trump family, they come from a background of doing business. They know how to maneuver in the market. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these politicians, they just been politicians. You know, they ain't never been business people. So let's continue.
And no amount of free stuff being promised is going to actually help it. It's a shame, but I think he's going to be great, Mamdani. If he wins, he's going to be great for the rest of the country in the future, because New York City is going to go through some really hard times, and people are going to stop playing with this ridiculous experiment of communism and socialism that has not worked anywhere else in the world.
Thank you. This socialist, communist approach has not worked anywhere else in the world where they tried it at. It's a complete failure. It's a complete failure. Anywhere that a socialist has been in control or tried to implement this, it has not worked. And like you said, New York, go ahead and play around. If you, hey, you gonna F-A-F-O, you gonna F around and find out. Go ahead, get your 4 years in with this dude, with this socialist dude, and y'all gonna be begging to get rid of him in a short amount of time, because he's going to bankrupt. You see what Chicago going through. You see what LA going through. And y'all already in not so good shape. And it's always these blue states going through this, playing these experimental games. History has shown us that it don't work. And at this point, I'm sitting up there wondering, like, y'all would even be considering this dude to be winning in a. Is the numbers correct? Like, this dude that's about to be the mayor of New York, man, he gonna do some major damage. And like Don Jr. said, they gonna be okay. They gonna stop playing these games and they gonna come completely over to the red side of things. They gonna be on the conservative side of things. Y'all go through y'all growing pains in this next 4 years with this dude. Y'all gonna definitely want to get on over to the right side.
About it too, it's propping up in Minneapolis. You got a socialist there and one over in Seattle. Zach, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think the boys said it really well, you know.
Right. So that's why people will make that decision. We'll see what happens. It's hard to imagine them losing with this type of lead. Something else stood out. We thought it was perfect timing you were here. Among the people that noticed Trump 2 or Trump 47 is running on all cylinders is a New York Times reporter. So we clipped it. I wanted you to get your response to how you think it's going, the fact that he said this. Tyler Page.
He's way more effective at accomplishing his agenda with having that time out of office, because a lot of his aides, Russ Vought, those sorts of officials spent their time out of government planning for this term. And so what they've done is an onslaught of executive orders in the first 6 months that accomplished a lot of their goals very quickly because he knew what they wanted to do.
Eric, is he right?
He's right. I can't believe I'm actually hearing this. Where are we?
Right, my father's throwing so much lead in the air that they literally don't know how to counter program. It's amazing. And listen, while I think we won in 2020, I think the greatest thing ever was having those 4 years off. We have the Senate, we have the House, we have a 6-3 majority in the Supreme Court. My father has a cabinet that's unparalleled. And what they're doing every single day, I mean, he's making America proud. He's making transformational change to this country, and this is exactly what we need. Look at our economy right now. Look at the jobs force. Look at the tariffs. Look at how much money's coming back. Look at inflation. I mean, our markets in the last 6 months, they have done a 180. I mean, we were going into a really, really deep place. My father has single-handedly saved this country. Now you watch what he's doing in Washington, D.C. It's a beautiful thing. He's cleaning up the streets. He's getting away with the homelessness. He's doing a great job.
It's also amazing to see he now has
exactly what Eric Trump just said. You know what I'm saying? It was a blessing in disguise that Donald Trump didn't win in 2020. You know why? Because he had a chance. See, what the last 4 years in America has done on a political scale has exposed people for who they really are. And Donald Trump was able to sit back in the cut and watch from afar. They'd be like, oh yeah, I want to put him in this position in my administration. I want to put her as Attorney General. I want to have her as a Director of Intelligence. Now he has, it has gotten so bad. People want to talk crazy, but it got so bad in America over the last 4 years that now Trump has the House, the presidency, and the Senate. The majority and everything won every swing state. Because the people, like I said earlier in this video, the people galvanized nationally and said, no, we're not doing this. We might not agree with everything Donald Trump say and do or how he say and do it, but we know he cares about this country. He cares about the safety of this country, of the people in this country. And we know, because we had him as a president before, that he know what to do to protect this country and for it to grow and to prosper. And now he sat back and got 4 years and learned from the last administration, because he had a lot of people that was trying to sabotage him in his first administration. Now he has a solid team. He was able to sit back and observe everybody. Now he sit next to people that he can trust more. So if he would have went directly in from, into the 2020 election, he wouldn't have had this time. And we as Americans wouldn't have had this great awakening and be like, oh man, I see the difference. Because I'm going to be honest with you, when Trump was in office the first time, I took it for granted. I'm like, man, I look on my Facebook posts. I got posts on Facebook. I'm telling you, I hated Donald Trump. I was like, man, if you voted for Trump, man, unfriend me off Facebook. I saw that memory pop back up. You know how the memories pop back up? I seen that, and I wish I would have screenshot it so I could put it on my community tab. I wish I would have remembered to screenshot that and put it on my community tab, man. And I said, man, if you voted for Donald Trump, man, unfriend me. I hated Donald Trump, man, but I took it for granted. And I wouldn't have never known that I took it for granted if Joe Biden hadn't done such a horrible job. Now that I done woke up, because I'm scratching this, I've been, scraping and scratching to survive for the past 4 years, working like a dog, just getting by. Now I'm like, man, bring Trump back. When Trump was back, man, I was going on vacation. I mean, I was in other countries when Trump was in office, man. Man, I got stamps on my passport, all that. Man, Joe Biden getting office, man, I'm barely going across the street. Gas too high. You can't have talk about flying somewhere. I can't even drive nowhere. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that little 4 years was a blessing in disguise, bro.
Has a cabinet that is in line with him, right? In the first term, you had people that were coming in, they're kicking the can down. Okay, we're going to wait Trump out. This time, we had 4 years of hell that we went through. We found out who the people were that were actually fighters, people who believed in the America First movement. He brought them all on. So now that you have a cabinet that's actually aligned with the president, not trying to subvert him, you can see what's being done. And what's really great now, for the first time in probably history, the Republicans actually have a great bench for the future. Before it was Trump, and what do you have after Trump? There's no one there. We found out who those people were, who those fighters.
Exactly. Now we got J.D. Vance. I didn't know who the hell J.D. Vance was, but I'm telling you, if he run for president, 9 times out of 10, he got my vote. And J.D. Vance hated Donald Trump too. I ain't gonna say hated, but he was very critical of Donald Trump. But now he's like a part of the Trump family. You know what I'm saying? They done got so close. It's like another son to Trump. And he's grooming him for the presidency. If you pay attention, he's grooming Vance. You know? So, like you said, man, the Trump administration has so many different people that could be in that position. From J.D. Vance to Tulsi Gabbard to Byron Donalds. I mean, the list goes on. You got so many different heavy hitters just within the Trump administration because he sat back and he vetted them over the last 4 years.
Fighters were in that 4 years, and we needed to go through that hell like addiction, right? You have to hit rock bottom to be able to rise up again. Yeah. We hit rock bottom as a country. We know the people who are on our team. They are fighting together as one engine, and the results are incredible.
Zach, your dad's very much part of this.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's super proud to serve the American people and the president, and you know, he's doing what he can.
What's it like for you to see your dad on the inside and you're on the outside with the guys?
Oh, okay. So his dad is working with the Trump. I don't know who his dad is, but he's working with Trump.
You know, Eric and Don are the two greatest business partners I could ask for. You know, we run a stable coin infrastructure company called World Liberty Financial. We have the world's fastest growing stable coin, USD1. We just did this incredible deal yesterday with ALTS, the Alt 5 Sigma Corporation, to acquire $1.5 billion of our token. The stock's currently trading under net asset value by a pretty significant margin. So we're quite excited about the future of the stock. But yeah, you know, just really proud of my dad. And he's clearly part of the greatest administration, not just of the past few decades, but of all time.
So, Don, what's going to be happening today? You're going to be ringing the bell?
Well, we're going to be ringing the bell at the NASDAQ talking about all 5. But the biggest thing is we got into crypto because we didn't have a choice, right? We were debanked by every major banking institution. The people that 2 weeks before we were debanked, we could have called and gotten a loan in 5 seconds. They disappeared. We were left high and dry. So we weren't even, this is basically during the first term, certainly after, you know, let's call it January 6th.
Whoa. Now, if you know, if you've been following me the last couple days, I did 2 parts of a reaction to their dad's interview on CNBC, where Donald Trump talked about this. Actually, I ended part 1 at the point where he said that the banks had discriminated against him and his family and his followers. And now you have Donald Trump Jr. here confirming that he also was discriminated against when his dad left office by the major banks. Donald Trump Sr. said J.P. Morgan Chase and BOA, Bank of America, and I think he's going to name a few others here. That is insanity. Now, they just not coming out publicly speaking on the banks discriminating against them. They've been banking with these banks for over 20 years, doing great business. I mean, these people, is this the Trump family. So you know they got money. They billionaires. They handling major business. So why would you just end doing business with some billionaires when they benefit your bank? You know what I'm saying? And then he said that they jumped off into crypto. Now, them mentioning this whole discrimination recently, they just not really started talking about this. This is major. Do you smell a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit coming about? Because they said a lot of people that were regular Joes that just supported Donald Trump, they also just regular citizens that were Team Trump politically were also discriminated against, and the banks told them they couldn't do business with them no more for no apparent reason. So I'm thinking maybe a class action lawsuit is on the horizon, because first the president come out, now his sons is talking about it. Just saying.
All the nonsense, it got significantly worse. So we weren't even early crypto guys, but we figured out if they can debank the Trump organization, if they can debank us, who can't they go after? And more importantly, who won't they go after? And so we had to, rather than take our ball home and go cry in a corner, we had to come up with solutions. And the reality is between crypto technology, blockchain technology, so much of what the traditional banking system was made up of didn't make any sense. It's grossly inefficient. It takes forever. Right. It's not democratized at all. If you know someone, you can make, we were at the top of a Ponzi scheme. We just didn't even know it. For regular people, it didn't make any sense. So we partnered up with Zach and so many of the greatest guys in the space to really get people to understand what crypto is. And to me, it is absolutely the future of banking. So what we're doing with World Liberty Financial, I think is going to shake up the entire banking system. It is literally the future of finance.
And I know it's going to be exciting for you today in about an hour. But Eric, I want to bring you to this, and all of you. Critics are saying, hey, well, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. The New Yorker, for example, says the number. How much is Trump pocketing off the presidency? Axios. President Trump and his family stand to net $3.4 billion by the end of the second term. David Kirkpatrick reports for the New Yorker in a piece today, the number, why it matters. No U.S. president has monetized the highest off in the land quite like this. Eric, your answer to those headlines.
Brian, it's infuriating. We had nowhere to go. Capital One stripped 300 bank accounts from me, 300 in the middle of the night. They sent us a letter after doing business for 20-something years. All your bank accounts for golf courses and condominium buildings and hotels, they're all gone in the middle of the night. I mean, how do you pay your taxes? How do you pay your employees? This happened across the board. It happened with JP Morgan Chase. It happened with Bank of America.
You see the banks he naming? He said he had 300 accounts. 300 accounts over 20 years that were still active, and they canceled all of them. What the? Man, that's crazy.
America. It happened with First Republic. And this wasn't just happening to the Trumps, people with a lot of zeros on the end. This was happening to conservatives all over the country. We didn't have a damn choice. So before my father, won the election, before my father was in office, we started getting into cryptocurrency. The people in cryptocurrency were being debanked.
Okay, hold on. It's getting a little choppy, man. I'm gonna give it a little second, but just think about that. You said they were doing this to conservatives all over the country. Kind of puts you in the mindset of, remember during the election and those hurricanes hit in North Carolina, and they said that the FEMA people were directed to pass by the houses that had Trump signs in front of them, like that type of discrimination. But then they want to go around here and say Donald Trump is a dictator. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the hypocrisy is insane. So you're not only trying to, marginalize Trump, you're trying to marginalize his family, his children, and his supporters. I thought this was America, people.
Just like Trump was being debanked.
Right.
And you know what? It's become the fastest growing industry anywhere in the world. It's actually removed a lot of the power from the big banks who have weaponized their platforms against the American people. And I could not be more proud to be.
I don't notice them talking about the hundreds of millions of dollars we had to spend fighting lawfare. doesn't matter, right? That was all nonsense, right? Russia, you name it. Impeachment 1, hoax 2, 3, 4, 5, infinity. No one talks about that. They weaponized the entire full force of the United States government against our family. And unlike all the other people who'd served as the presidency before, basically since our founding fathers, Trump was the only guy that was actually a businessman before that. Are we supposed to stop running our businesses? Are we supposed to stop doing anything? He's not involved in these things. We are running those businesses as we have. We came up with a solution to a very real problem that not just us, we didn't just have to face it. Hundreds of millions of Americans either face it or are afraid that they're going to face those kind of problems because they don't just simply conform and fall into line with whatever the talking points are or whatever the liberal agenda is that day.
And that's what we're doing with ALTS and World Liberty is we're really trying to democratize the financial system.
This company is going viral for its new process that gives you permanent teeth in just 24 hours.
Put power back in the hands of the people instead of, the big boogeyman behind the curtain.
Since I knew you guys before your dad was running, well, I remember talking to you early when your dad was running. I thought, Eric, are you going to do something? Because Jared went in, Ivanka went in, Don, you say, no, I don't think so. So you kept a wall up there. But what do you think about people who say, well, your dad hires David Sachs and they loosen up cryptocurrency rules and set up parallels, and then you guys are in that space?
Crypto is the fastest growing industry worldwide by far, bar none. Everybody in the world, if you look at the Middle East, if you look at all of Asia, if you look at all of South America, they're all running toward cryptocurrency. I mean, we have a financial system, Brian, that's broken. If you want to send a wire at 4:59 on a Friday afternoon, somebody's not going to get it until, midday Monday. How is our banking system, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If you want to go get a loan, you want to go buy a house, the bank that you've banked with for 25 years will take 120 days to go through a know your customer report to give you your own money, to be able to borrow against your own. Our banking system is broken. And then that same banking system has gone after 50% of the Americans because they decided to wear a hat that says Make America Great Again. We have to change the financial system. We will change the financial system. World Liberty is going to change the financial system. And honestly, I could not be more proud. And we started this company long before my father was elected, long before he won the election, certainly long before he actually got into politics again. We started this when the New York Times, ironically, was giving him about a 2% chance of re-winning the election as they were throwing the kitchen sink at him.
And we campaigned on it. I mean, we said we were going to do this. I mean, we said we were going to do this because, again, the fear of the American public that they were going to be debanked, that they weren't going to be able to get their credit card payment processed because they're buying a gun. The Second Amendment's kind of a big deal. That was a very real fear. We campaigned that we were going to do these things, that we were going to change these systems, that we were going to try to democratize finance. It's not like we're doing this after the fact. When they said we had zero chance of doing this, we were still already working on this project because it had to get done one way or the other.
Letitia James thought she'd be dividing up the Trump empire a year ago, less than a year, and look at how things have dramatically changed, guys. Resilience, your family stuck together through all of it. And Zach, you are an honorary member of the family, I think.
100%.
Yeah. So there you go. And your dad
was
was there when the second assassination attempt, he was golfing with the president. So they certainly know the risk. Guys, great to see you. Thanks for making the announcement on our couch. And don't be too nervous when you ring the bell today.
Thanks, Ryan. We're
all right. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much.
Hey, man. I mean, at this point, man, the same thing black people be talking about, man, that black men be going through in America, man. I'm just saying, Trump went through it. He been washed and rinsed through the judicial system, discriminated against through the bank system, targeted. They raided his homes in Mar-a-Lago, all that going on. You know what I'm saying? And still kept pushing. Still they tried to take him out. Tried to lock him up. And man, his kids, man, his sons, they hold they pops down. You know what I'm saying? The whole family, all his kids, man, they solid. You know what I'm saying? They hold they pops down, man. So man, shout out to the Trump sons. There's some bright dudes right there. But yeah, man, we got to get to the last part of this video. And this really blew my mind once again. Shout out to Brother Muse for giving me some content to cover today. And yeah, man, let's talk about it. We got Kentucky, the state of Kentucky. When you go to Southern Illinois, the furthest you go south, you go straight down the middle, you wind up in Kentucky. Paducah, Kentucky. And I would be sure that is a red state. But for some reason, you got illegal immigrants in Kentucky paying for driver licenses. How did illegal immigrants end up in the middle of the country in Kentucky? Let's go.
The state didn't want this out. Fraud inside Kentucky's transportation cabinet. Licenses issued without a driver's test.
It is an ongoing WDRB investigation, and tonight we hear from a whistleblower who says coworkers used her login to pull off this scheme.
Employees were being paid underneath the table.
They say sometimes
I immediately let my supervisor know about it.
truth hurts. Did you ever think that this would cost you your job?
No,
And for Melissa Moorman,
I was angry for a long time.
this is one of those.
It hurts me that I'm talking about this and I actually like where I was working at.
Times.
I came into the office that day, my computer was shut down. I was told to go to the front door. Detectives came in, they interviewed me. That was it.
Moorman says she was fired 3 months after she sent this letter to the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, blowing the whistle that workers at the NIA Center licensing branch were selling driver's licenses under the table to people who never took the driver's test.
Undocumented workers.
How did it work? What was going on?
The undocumented workers would come into the office in groups. They would provide them either permits or driver's license illegally. So they will bypass without even taking the test.
How much?
$200 per person.
Up to 5 times a day, she says. Was this?
Hold fast, man. Hold fast. Now I'm seeing, our people clearly in this part of Kentucky. But, oh my God. So you mean to tell me these people are jeopardizing their livelihood for $200 a pop? I'm just saying, you providing illegal immigrants with a driver's license. Now, they use this lady login information to process the driver's license for the illegal immigrant. She had no knowledge of it. But still, you got cameras and everything everywhere. You would jeopardize somebody come up to you with $200? What? You gonna jeopardize not only your livelihood, but your freedom for providing driver license under the table for illegal immigrants. Why illegal immigrants are in Kentucky that is crazy in itself. Let's continue.
It's an everyday thing?
Almost, yes.
I first reported on the driver's license fraud investigation in April after getting my hands on one of the state's revocation letters. We learned the transportation cabinet sent more than 1,500 of them in 5 months, telling drivers their license was issued in air and must be returned or they could.
So they did this 1,500 times? Oh, fast, bro. Why is buffering, man? 1,500 times, man. I want to see something. Is Kentucky a sanctuary city or something? Am I missing something? Bro, I'm trying to understand something here. How in the world they got 1,500 illegal immigrants with driver licenses paying under the table? They was running an operation out this DMV. So, look, is it a sanctuary city, man? And then we can come for that, back to that to see if it's still buffering. But I have it here. So, the answer is no. Kentucky is not a sanctuary state. However, while Louisville, Kentucky was previously designated as a sanctuary city, it has since changed its policies and is no longer considered one according to WLWT. So Louisville, Kentucky, this wasn't in Louisville, Kentucky. I don't know how close Louisville, Kentucky is, but the state itself does not have policies that prevent cooperation with federal immigration authorities, which is characteristic of sanctuary jurisdictions. So, no. Long and short, Louisville, Kentucky, and this ain't even Louisville, Kentucky, was a sanctuary state. City. Louisville, Kentucky was a sanctuary city, but Kentucky was never a sanctuary state. Interesting. But it doesn't say how long ago, but they are not even a sanctuary no more. So what in the world is 1,500 illegal immigrants? If you know they just is more than that, that's who they got on record paying for under the table driver's licenses. I mean, this is insane. Out of one DMV, they ain't taking a test. You don't even know these people know how to drive. Not only is this like, but it's a safety hazard too. Because you giving licenses to drive with people that you don't even know if they know how to operate a vehicle. Crazy, man. But let's get back to it, man. See if it's done buffering.
Could be criminally charged. At the time, state officials confirmed at least 2 terminations and ongoing state and federal investigations focused on the NIA Center in West Louisville and the E-Town license branch. But they denied all of our records requests, withholding 2,300 documents on the fraud. Mormon's story fills in the blanks.
I found out it may have been going on for a couple of years before it was found out.
We're told it wasn't as simple as people getting state-issued driver's license or permits without taking a test. She says 2 of her colleagues at the NIA Center approached her with a business venture, asking if she wanted to get in on the scheme.
I was asked to bring certain customers in, and they are brought in to me without signing in. And you would scan their documents as usual.
Documents made to look legitimate, like birth certificates and social security cards, according to the letter she wrote to the state. But a key to pulling off this scheme was making sure the required Homeland Security screening was never run.
I start getting these emails saying, are you doing this? Are you doing this? Are you doing this?
And that's where it unraveled. She says those workers were using her login, a password she says her bosses made her share, as all workers at the driver's license branch did not have.
So her bosses were in on the scheme, and they used this lady as the scapegoat because she didn't want to be a part of it. They didn't want her to tell what they had going on. They had a money laundering scheme for illegal immigrants to pay $200 a pop for driver licenses. This DMV needs to be investigated and prosecuted. This is insane.
Have their own. Mormon was training to be a supervisor.
I'm not even at my desk because I'm doing various duties, or I'm not there for the day. So, things start kind of coming together. I'm like, what's going on?
Was it always undocumented workers?
Yes.
Every time?
Every time.
It does not surprise me.
Adrian Trivedi helps people trying to obtain legal status, an immigration attorney for 14 years.
For those immigrants that don't have a pathway to obtain legal status, having a driver's license could mean the difference between getting home from work safely, to their children, to their wives or husbands, and not for a relatively small price to be able to have that chance of avoiding deportation, even just for that day, they're willing to take it.
To Moorman, this license scheme exploited people.
I didn't want no parts of it.
Moorman says she wrote this letter with her boss on October 29th, and she spoke to detectives 3 months later. She was fired.
So this just happened. This is October 29th, 2024. This just happened.
The same day.
Gut punch, yes. Very hard gut punch.
She was 2 years and 3 months onto the job, but she didn't technically work for the state. Moorman was a contractor for Quantum, a staffing agency that Kentucky hired to help fill positions in driver's license branches when they took licensing away from the county clerks.
Please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Mr. Van Staten, this is Gilbert Corsi from WDRB News. The Michigan-based company did not return our calls or emails. It hung up.
It's shocking. Why would an employer punish and take retribution on an employee that reported this wrongdoing?
Moorman's story, now the heart of a whistleblower lawsuit going after both the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet.
She should be a hero.
And Quantum Solutions.
So they fired this lady. They made her the scapegoat. Not only did they use her information so they couldn't be traced, they used her to fire her, to take they made her the fall girl. They made her the fall girl. This some dirty, dirty, dirty people, man. Insane, bro. She trying to get her job back. No, you need to sue. I would not want to work with them people no more. The worst thing you could do, lady, is go back and work for them people. Because they gonna have a vendetta. Go get your lawsuit, find you another job. I wouldn't go back and work for them people. I wouldn't trust it. But this is diabolical right here, man. This some crazy work. They asked the lady, did she want to be in on the scheme? She declined. They using her login information because her boss made her disseminate it to other people. Then, you know what I'm saying? She didn't want to be a part of it. They're using her information. When they started getting clues of what's going on, they fired her and made her the fall guy for the scheme. Boy, $200 a pop, 1,500 illegal immigrants. How much is that? Let's see. $200 a pop. 1,500. They did all this for how much did they do this for? But 30 bands or something like that? What's 1,500 times 200? Let me see. Times 200. Yep. They did all this for $30,000 to this lady. 1,500 a pop. 1,500 illegal immigrants, $200 a pop. They threw this lady under the bus for 30 bands. And they had to do that fit. So you got 1,500 illegal immigrants riding around Kentucky. Man, this is crazy.
There's a failure to supervise these employees. There were obviously no checks and balances.
Kentucky State Police is on it. There are serious concerns, and we'll hold anybody accountable if they violated the law.
That's basically all Governor Andy Beshear would say as we pressed on this case in April. But there was a part of our interview that didn't make our prior report, and it may be important now.
Is there an immigration component to this?
Not that I'm aware of.
WDRB is fighting in court for the paper trail to be made public, uncovering who knew what and when. Sometimes the truth does hurt.
I was hurt and depressed.
But Melissa Moorman believes
I really would like to get my job back.
It will set her free.
The Transportation Cabinet has a deadline this week to respond in court on why it withheld every single document, 2,300 records from our request. We will keep you updated.
Man. 2,300 records, 2,300 documents, and they threw that lady under the bus, man, for 30 bands. And I'm pretty sure that 30 bands wasn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? When it came to, all the people that had to be a part of that mess. How many ways did y'all split that 30 bands? You know what I'm saying? How many people in the office was in on the scheme? And then gonna fire the lady, man. Used her login information up, man. The things that people would do for these illegal immigrants, man. Insane. But yeah, man, once again, man, we talked about some corruption in Illinois. You know, the Trump brothers was on Fox cooking. And the illegals in Kentucky out here, man, paying for driver licenses, man. And they helping them get away with it. Hey, man, it's your boy Jay Taylor. Once again, a day in politics. Crazy. And appreciate y'all coming through. Until next time, we should see you soon. Peace and blessings.